2 Mondays down, and after today, only one more to go before we exit the month of February. As we look forward to what's ahead in March, we're channeling some positive energy through mental wellness and the natural scenery outside. Sounds soothing, right? Well, that's the intended mood waiting for you in today's show. Welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. We only have 30 minutes, so let's get the ball rolling.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, February 21, 2022. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, is projecting that Jamaica's gradual recovery from the economic fallout caused by the COVID-19 pandemic will continue in 2022, with gross domestic product to GDP growth projected at 4.3%. This is 0.4 percentage points lower than the forecast of 4.7% for 2021. The projection follows an Article 4 consultation between the IMF's executive board and local authorities. The fund's directors highlight that while Jamaica's economy is rebounding, renewed COVID-19 waves could lead to a more prolonged disruption of tourism, trade, and capital flows. Another risk is posed by the uncertain duration of global inflationary pressures, which have boosted inflation to well above the central bank's target range of 4 to 6%. According to the IMF's executive board, over the medium term, the Jamaica government will need to rebuild fiscal buffers, safeguard debt sustainability, and prioritize structural reforms that reduce poverty and boost potential and inclusive growth. Several roads in Clarendon North Central are to be rehabilitated under the National Works Agency, NWA's Maintenance of Secondary Roads program. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Everald Warmington, gave the update as he toured the area recently. He says the NWA will be conducting an assessment to determine the scope of works and provide an estimate of the cost. Among the roads targeted for intervention are Maypen to Soursop Turn, Rock River to Ginger Ridge, Suttons or Ennis Hill, Summerfield to Blackwoods, and the Crawl River Road. Work is also slated to be undertaken on the thoroughfare from Morgan's Pass to Colonel's Ridge. Minister Warmington, who has responsibility for the works portfolio, says these will add to several road improvements that have been undertaken in the parish since September 2020.
We have one project from Bellersgate to Boys Canton for $120 million. We do it in 2 phases. It just completed the first $60 million, and we already tendered for the second $60 million.
Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for the area, Robert Morgan, has welcomed the developments, pointing out that many of the roads provide connection to areas in and outside of the parish.
Particularly the Woods Road, they call it here, but it's actually Chapelton Road from Guinea Tree to Soursop Turn. That's a big connector from the southern Clarendon to northern Clarendon and even to Cave Valley and St. Anne. That road being fixed is going to open up a lot of economic opportunities for the northern side of the parish, and it's going to also reduce the cost of transportation of goods and people.
Residents in the St. Andrew West Rural constituency now have access to a free community Wi-Fi hotspot. It was installed at the Golden Spring Square by the Universal Service Fund, USF, at a cost of $7.5 million. The Wi-Fi hotspot is situated in a commercial area which includes an early childhood center, a health center, 3 churches, and several businesses and vending areas. This is the first of 3 community Wi-Fi hotspots being established in the constituency. The other 2 will be situated at the Lawrence Tavern Center and Red Hill Square. Member of Parliament for the area and State Minister of Health, Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn, says several teachers who were using their personal internet connections to conduct lessons will now be supported.
And let us not forget, there is a health center right across the street, right in front of us, that will also benefit. Lots of people, at least 150 persons, visit that health center on a daily basis.
Mrs. Cuthbert-Flynn encouraged her constituents to also visit the Rocky Valley Community Center in the constituency to gain access to 11 brand new computers, which are free to use. They were also installed by the USF. Chief Executive Officer of the USF, Daniel Dawes, says the fund will continue to pursue its mandate of bridging the connectivity gap across the island. The USF is aiming to install 189 Wi-Fi hotspots by March 31. Government has allocated $899 million to continue a major program for the expansion of 19 secondary and primary level institutions during the new fiscal year. The work is being facilitated under the Primary and Secondary Infrastructure Program, which is designed to construct classrooms and other amenities for the elimination of the shift system and overcrowding at 17 high and 2 primary schools. The project also includes construction of an infant school. It is being financed by the Government of Jamaica and implemented under the Ministry of Education's National Education Trust, NET. This year's budgetary allocation will go towards continuing work at the Pepin, Black River, Cedric Titus, Newell and Bridgeport High Schools, as well as the Dias Infant School in Hanover. Construction will also commence at Westwood and Albertown High Schools in Trelawney, Homewood Technical High in Manchester, Port Antonio High in Portland, and Exchange All-Age in St. Anne. Several primary and high schools are also benefiting from upgrades to their electrical systems, while security fences are being constructed at other institutions. Details on the project are contained in the 2022-2023 Estimates of Expenditure, which is now before the House of Representatives. And finally, the more than 7,000 residents of Greenwich Town in St. Andrew are now able to enjoy 2 newly constructed parks and green spaces in their community. The Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, installed the spaces at the St. Andrew Primary School and the Greenwich Town Fishing Beach. The total cost of the project is $4.4 million, of which JSIF provided $4 million, while the community made a contribution of $400,000. The work was executed under government's Integrated Community Development Project 2, ICDP. This project aims to improve the environment, aid in reducing the effects of climate change, enhance the aesthetics of the community, and promote outdoor activities and healthy, active lifestyles. Senior Manager of Social Development at JSIF, Mona Sue Ho, says the initiative is part of JSIF's ongoing commitment to transform vulnerable communities across Jamaica.
We are hoping that the residents see this as a long-term investment in their future. The importance of these spaces is paramount for the sustenance and well-being and the overall development of this community.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
What a way you're full of our roots and culture. That must be Jamaica 60. Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up.
Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence.
I only way of celebrating it. They say the people them come here, you know. But you see, when our people decide, say the other people them free paper, them say if it's war, start it, whatever. We all collect medal panta fight, you know.
Medal.
Amount of tongue we give them, you know.
The celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report.
I am on site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what it activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration.
If you download the app to get the updates then.
Passage project is an intervention to support the safe commute of children to and from school using specific roadways and thoroughfares. Road safety is a national cause for concern, as hundreds of Jamaicans, including children, have lost their lives annually due to road accidents.
The police and citizens do welcome the Safe Passage project. This project is not only beneficial to our youngsters, but by extension, the community.
The project has already been implemented in 8 schools across Jamaica under the first phase of the Integrated Community Development Project, ICDP, which was funded by the World Bank, And building on the success of Phase 1, the Safe Passages project is now being implemented under the Government of Jamaica's ICDP2 project in 5 communities: Salt Spring and Anchovy in St. James, Treadlight in Clarendon, Greenwich Town in Kingston, and August Town in St. Andrew. 3 of these safe passages, including within Salt Spring, are Government of Jamaica targets under the EU's Citizen Security Program for financial year 2021-22.
We are here in this ceremony to hand over a safe passage. And let me tell you that indeed when we help the government to implement the Citizen Security Plan to make sure that children can go from the 2 places in their life which should be, where they should be safest, between home and school, one cannot say that that is not contributing to citizen security and to their well-being. So I'm extremely happy to see that we have included interventions like this in our support. It is not just a road safety project, it's a community project where everyone gets involved.
The project does not stop with the infrastructure. It also includes a comprehensive public education and road safety program targeting staff and students, residents, transport providers, and other road users by educating them on proper road usage.
It is my hope that this Safe Passage project will attract other stakeholders to build on this foundation.
We now have pretty sidewalks and guardrails. No car can bounce we down, cause we not in a them way. And we safe passage, we get with safe passage.
This safe passage in Salt Spring boasts all the features which have become synonymous with the project. At a cost of $14 million, 400 meters of sidewalk was constructed with safety guardrails. School traffic signs were installed already, and the pedestrian crossing was put in place. Additionally, 2 bus sheds were constructed. The school fencing was rehabilitated and replaced with a block wall structure, decorated with murals depicting messages on road safety. It is my hope that this Safe Passage program will have the outcome of providing safe commute for students, staff, and other pedestrians in partnership with the wider community and other stakeholders.
The first half hour of our show was more about good news. This portion is more of a wellness guide. We know that in these turbulent times, becoming displaced can be all too easy. That's why we've compiled a guide to achieving good mental health. You may want to take some notes.
Hi, I'm Orchid. I know. When you hear my name, you think of luxury, strength, and beauty. But currently there is nothing beautiful about my situation. I am unemployed, having lost my job to the economic effects of COVID-19, and I don't know how long I can cope. Plus, I've struggled with mental illness in the past. There are so many thoughts flying through my head during the days, and at nights, others keep me up. I understand that being down sometimes is a natural part of life, but it's not that. The stress, the anxiety, the worry, they keep getting worse. Of course, some days are better than others because I have medication to help. But even with that, some days are really bad. Okay, you may feel bad for me, and empathy is fine. But here's a bit of good news. I've been learning some techniques to help me deal with the problem. So if your story sounds similar to mine, then maybe you could apply these techniques as well.
There is a direct correlation between what you eat and how you feel, and some foods have an enduring impact on your mental health. How do you feel after drinking a cup of coffee? Or how do your children react after having sugary drinks? You get my point, right? So if you're struggling with mental illness, now may be the time to start eating a healthy and balanced diet. Here's what we're adding: various fruits and vegetables, and lots of it where possible. Our whole grain bread and cereals are a good addition to the mix. So too are nuts, seeds, dairy products and proteins in the right proportion, and lots of water. Never forget that any diet that's good for your physical health is just as good for your mental health.
If alcohol is in your glass too often, then it might be a contributor to your mental illness. The truth is that while many of us drink alcohol to change our mood or to deal with things like worry or abandonment, the effect is quite fleeting. Alcohol withdrawal is real, and there's nothing good about it, because when that drink wears off, you'll only feel worse. And of course, there's the damage too much alcohol does to your body. Occasional light drinking is okay and enjoyable for a lot of people. Just remember, everything in moderation. And just like alcohol, smoking or using drugs provides a short-lived high. And after that, then what? Cigarette and drugs don't solve the problems associated with mental illness. They only mask and eventually worsen them.
Here's another link between body and mind: exercising. When we exercise, the activities release endorphins that improve our mood and provide a relaxed sensation throughout the mind and body. Regular exercise can improve your self-esteem and help you concentrate, all while keeping the brain and other organs healthy. And get this, exercising doesn't have to just be about going to the gym or doing sporting activities. It can be as simple as a walk, anything that keeps your mind active.
Sleep and good mental health are good friends. When you get enough sleep, it is easier to cope with stress, solve some problems, concentrate, and even think positively. While many doctors recommend 8 hours of sleeping, your body will tell you how much you need. You'll know you're getting enough when you do not feel so sleepy or extremely tired during the day. I get that sometimes we have a lot to do, and it is easy to think that we can get more done if we can cut back on our sleep time. But get this, it becomes harder to get things done when we do not get enough sleep.
If things are getting too much for you and it's becoming hard to cope, then ask for help. Your family or friends may be able to offer a listening ear or even practical solutions. You could even consider joining a support group or find a counselor to help you deal with your feelings. It's important to know that there are effective treatments for mental illness, and people who get proper care can recover and learn to cope and experience fulfilling lives.
I've made my tree legacy from the primary level all the way to university. You can get involved too. Plant a tree today and keep climate change away.
Register your alma mater for the Forestry Department's My Tree Legacy promotion and be a part of the preservation of Jamaica land we love. Let us highlight your contribution. Submit videos or pictures of you leaving your mark. Every tree counts. Plant a tree today and keep climate change away.
Just standing and observing the natural beauty outside can certainly help us to feel relaxed and less stressed. It's also good preparation for the day ahead. Let's start that process for you here by sharing the offerings of the Cinchona and Hope Gardens.
They offer a large serving of nature with a dash of history and science. Public gardens. created and maintained to educate Jamaicans on the importance of plant life. They also provide free green spaces to enjoy the benefits of the great outdoors. There are 4 such spaces on the island, all supported by the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries. And after making our way through Bath and trekking through Castleton in the first part of our journey, we're now 4,800 feet above sea level. The Cinchona Botanical Gardens, located in the cool, moist hills of East Rural St. Andrew.
Cinchona was first established in 1868 by the then Governor Sir John Peter Grant. At that time, the gardens was used as an experimental location. Various plants from other European countries were brought here for medicinal purposes, like the eucalyptus, the camphor, and other herbs are grown up here.
Cinchona is unique as it is the only garden in the Caribbean at such a high elevation.
Cinchona got its name at the time when there was a malaria infestation on the island, and that Cinchona plant was brought to Jamaica by a governor of Peru. The Cinchona plant was used to cure the malaria by way of extracting the bark of the plant and transforming that into quinine. And they used that to work on the malaria.
There are no conservation programs at Cinchona, but if you're feeling adventurous, make the hike and study an array of exotic plants on location, including the almost 200-year-old hoop pine. Our journey ends at the largest green space in the Kingston metropolitan area. Though run by the non-governmental organization Nature Preservation Foundation, it still receives a subsidy from the government and is free to the public.
Hope Gardens comprises of 260 acres stretching from Old Hope Road to Skyline Drive, but the actual gardens is mainly 60 active acres. The garden was a gift to Major Richard Hope, who was part of the contingency of Pennant Venables who came to conquer the island in about 1655 when the English invaded and took over from the Spanish.
Hope was an experimental site. They introduced exotic plants here and replanted them on the island once successfully propagated. Offspring of these plants remain in the garden.
We have the cannonball tree, which is native to the Amazon rainforest, that bears a fruit that takes 18 months to ripe, and it also weighs about 15 pounds. We also have the sausage tree, and that fruit can weigh anywhere between 15 to 27 pounds, and it really does look like a huge German sausage. The tree is native to West Africa, in Senegal.
Hope is vital in the conservation of the island's wildlife and flora.
We have a particular project in which we go to the cockpit country and get endemic plants, take them back to Hope Gardens, grow them and reintroduce them into the wild. The zoo also has a world-famous iguana project in which they have rediscovered the local Jamaican iguana, bred them successfully in captivity, and have introduced over 400 native iguanas into the hills of Hellshire.
This garden is usually bustling with activities. Family gatherings, professional photography, and school excursions are among the popular happenings.
The Chinese Garden is also a special place within the Hope Gardens. It was a gift, a $3 million gift from the People's Republic of China to the people and government of Jamaica.
I like about Hope Gardens is that you are free. You can do anything you want. You can paint, you can play, you can go to the zoo, like see the animals.
My group came here because we have a history group project. We thought that coming to the Hope Gardens would be a good idea, especially on a Sunday, because on a Sunday it's quiet and I think it's very conducive to practice. There's greenery and it's an open space. So, you know, you get a nice fresh breath of air while you're here, and it's, I think it helps you to focus more on what you need to do.
Hope Gardens is a getaway for persons wanting a break from the hustle and bustle of city life. A visit to public gardens provides this opportunity. Nature beckons. What are you waiting for?
Practice good hygiene by washing your hands frequently using soap and water. Here's how you should do it while conserving water. Turn on the tap to wet your hands, then turn off the pipe. Lather your hands and the tap with soap. Turn on the tap and wash your hands, back, front, and in between fingers. Use some of the water to wash off the tap, then turn it off. Dry your hands with disposable hand towels. If you don't have running water, use a hand rub containing 62% or more alcohol. If hand sanitizers are not available, rubbing alcohol, Dettol, white rum, or household bleach will do the trick. And if all else fails, let hand washing and the handling of potable water be a two-person event. Each person will take turns pouring and washing hands with sitting water. Now is a good time to consider installing a tap on your containers to reduce the risk of water contamination. Faucets can be easily attached to drums, buckets, or 5-gallon water bottles. And to ensure that the outside of the containers are clean when recapping, disinfect it with hand rub containing alcohol that's 62% or more. The 5 R's of water conservation are also necessary to practice. Reduce water wastage by investing in water-saving devices. Reuse water at least twice before discarding. Replace leaking pipes, faucets, and other plumbing equipment. Recycle wastewater and use it for gardening, car washing, or cleaning of public spaces. And reclaim water through rainwater harvesting. We all must play our part to ensure there's water to combat the coronavirus and stave off prolonged drought.
After all that learning, we put the final pause here for today's show. Thanks for sticking through the Jamaica Magazine journey. More is coming your way tomorrow and every day online at our YouTube channel. Also visit our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more information. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. See you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.